Hello students. Today's video is going to be very special. This is dedicated for CAT 2021 appearing students. In today's session we have got Sajal sir with us. Professor Sajal Mitra. He is a CAT trainer. He was the ex-director of Time Kolkata. He is the specialist in verbal ability section for all competitive examination. He also teaches students English section at graduate and undergraduate level. Sajal sir is a motivational speaker as well. Sajal sir also believes in educating rather than teaching. So let's hear it. 15 days roadmap to CAT 2021.
Hi guys, a very good morning to you. My name is Sajal Mitra and today I'm talking to you about 15 days to CAT, the D-Day 28th of November. Well, I know all of you have got butterflies in your stomach and you're thinking what is going to happen. But let me demystify the entire process of CAT and let me cool down your nerves. The first thing to understand is a very, very important point is CAT is actually a very, very hyped up exam. Simple as that. So let's understand what should you be doing in these next 15 days. That's exactly my point of view. The first thing is to understand is I assume that you would have taken lots of marks and probably many of you would have taken 15, 16 marks by now. And some of these marks might have been extremely good, while some of them might have been disastrously bad. And these have created hiccups in your heart. So the first thing that you should do is this: do not go over your old bad mark tests. Please don't. That is it. Go over the ones in which you have done decently well. Understand, you did not come across straight away to a result. It was a progress. Might be you would have started taking your marks from June. It's very natural that in June, July, your results would not have been so good as far as the marks are concerned. But over a period of time, have you progressed? My next point is to understand, at any point of time, you would have understood where do you stand. That is very, very important. That is, you would have done a SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Now you would have seen. Now please let's understand the score as far as CAT 20 is concerned, because at the present moment now, you need to know what should I score, sir, so that I can get a decent percentile, so that I can get into a good B school. CAT is not a degree. CAT is a qualifier aptitude test. It's as simple as that. So the first thing you begin to understand, let us look at, for example, people say, well, sir, my target is the IIMs. Wow, wonderful. Top 6 IIMs, brilliant. At what scores would the top 6 IIMs call you for their next round of GDPI and VAT? Something around 99.6 percentile or something like that. Now, if you look at last CAT 20, the scores, if you look at CAT 20 per se, you would see very clearly that a 99 percentile needed the following scores. Now, let's get it over once again. 3 sections, VARC 26 questions, LRDI second in lot 24 questions, Quant 26 questions, 3 marks each, so 78 VA, 72 LRDI, 78 Quant. CAT 20, if somebody got a 45, roughly, I'm just giving an approximation, I'm not saying exactly, say suppose like a 45 in VA, or for example a 36 in LRDI, or for example a 48 in Quant, the person would have got roughly 99 percentile. What I'm trying to say to you guys is this. If you're aiming for the IIMs, then you need to score, forget the percentile. The point is you need to score. These scores give you an idea. You need to score around 60 to 65% of the total score. That is it. Now the rest follows. And don't worry about it. The biggest thing is you guys, many of you, and my heart actually goes out for those students because everybody has a dream. I want to go to the IIMs. But the IIMs are not the be-all and the end-all of things. Please understand that. There are a lot of very, very good B schools. And please understand, the CAT result is only 50% of the total admission process. The remaining 50%, I'll talk to you later. But I'm just talking about right now about the paper per se. That is going to be very, very important. Once you've got that and you've seen your average mock CAT scores, especially the good mock CATs, you would have got a fair idea that, look, this is what I think I'll be getting. So my point now is, in these 15 days, what can I do so that I can give that last push, so that might be 2 more questions come, 3 more questions come, because at that stage, if 3 questions come, and at that particular point of time, the score would jump by a big percentile. So the first thing you analyze that. A word of caution, do not in any way change your strategy. Whatever strategy that you have been adopting for the mock CATs and where you have achieved a comfort level, don't change the strategy. Let us take the principal sections, and of course we're talking more about the verbal ability, but generally first let me talk about the Quant section a little bit around. In the Quant section, we all know that arithmetic dominates. So are you good at that area? My little point to you in this is, whatever strategy you adopt, the first thing that you should do is this. You understand what is your strength. Arithmetic, algebra, geometry, trigonometry, modern maths, and arithmetic will be dominating. So what you need to do is the first thing, 40 minutes, 26 questions. Never fall for that trap of starting with first question, first, second question. No. That's not the right approach. The right approach would be scan 40 minutes, spend 3 minutes scanning all the questions. Very quickly scan all the questions. See which are the cherry picking easy questions which are there. I've seen from experience, over the last 15 years, I've seen from experience that the easiest questions, my dear friends, are towards the bottom sometimes. And that's a trap which CAT lays out for you. People, when they go over their CAT paper later after the exam, say, oh my God, there were easy questions at the end which I could have easily done. So the idea is scan all the questions. Decide which is your priority. Might be the 23rd question is the easiest of the lot, or the 22nd question. So look at 2 things. A, your strength area. B, a question which throws back what I call as a memory kickback. That means, a memory kickback means the moment you see a question, you begin to say, I have seen this question before. I know this. Immediately, there is a good feeling factor, feel-good factor that comes in. Write it down on the blank sheet of paper, your priority list. That is it there. Once you have 3 minutes, that's all. I don't want you to spend more time. 3 minutes. And then once you've got that priority list already done, 3 minutes, stick to it. Next, start the questions. The best thing about Quant is the answers are quantified and there is no option which says none of the above. So the guessing time should be reduced as much as possible. What you should do is as simple as that you try out a question. When you do the easy questions first, then they would take around 1.5 minutes, which is the target, to 1 point. Now this year, as you know, the number of questions have been reduced, the time remaining the same. So I'm assuming that suppose if there are 22 questions instead of 26, then we are assuming that something like 1.8 minutes you are getting. Suppose in certain questions you are getting now 1.5 minutes, you finish the question, you're saving 3 minutes for that question, which you can pass on to another question where you can put in 2.5 minutes for that question. But nowhere beyond that point, even if you feel I've done this before, you do not take more time than 2.5, 3 minutes, not at all. Remember, you are jeopardizing the chances of completing the other questions which are waiting for you. Don't do that. Do you realize one thing? 4899 percentile. What does that mean? That simply means that if I get 16 questions correct out of 26, I've got 99 percentile, which means I don't have to attempt all the questions. Cool? That's it. Just remember that in maths. Now let's look at LRDI before I jump on to English. DI, LR dominating. DI will be a set-wise. 72 marks. That's it. That is, so 36, well I said 50%. That means if I get 12 questions correct, I'm cool about it. Pick up a comfortable caselet in DI and solve it. And even 2 caselets, that's it. Time it. Same way, time it. And LR, again that same strategy which you had applied for that. Remember, there is something called a beautiful thing in CAT. It's a gut feeling factor. That is the most important thing. All right, now let's finally come down to the VARC section. Now, when I look at the VARC section that is there, the first thing that I would like to talk about is yes, let's see. So let us talk about it. The VARC section. The VARC section is not an English section. It is a verbal reasoning section. So anybody who's got English hiccups saying that, oh, English is tough, words are difficult, out. CAT will give very simple words passages. They will not be too difficult. So all of you guys who got this vocabulary heartache can throw yourself into a comfortable position and say, I can take it. Next, point number 2. Out of 26 questions in CAT last year, 16 questions came from reading comprehension. Very clear? 70% of the paper is RC, reading comprehension. The same percentage will be there this time also. Suppose if there are 22 questions, then probably 14 questions will be there. Hypothetical, students, hypothetical. 14 questions will be there from reading comprehension, 8 questions from verbal ability. Those 14 questions are going to be a game changer for you. Those 8 questions are also very important. Now the 8 VA questions will have 3 sections. That is 3 types. Number 1, jumbled sentences. Number 2, odd sentence out. And number 3, summary questions. Out of these 3, 2 of those questions, that is jumbled sentence and odd sentence out, they are theta questions. Type in the answer. And the best part about theta is, there is no negative marking in that. Dear students, first wonderful hint. All theta questions to be attempted. That is, all the jumbled sentence questions and all the odd sentence out questions you have to attempt because there's no negative marking. Whatever comes, comes in. Summary question will have negative marking. Now let us start off with RC. So you divide the time. 40 minutes, what's going to be a strategy? 40 minutes may, let us say 24 minutes you would give for reading comprehension. 16 minutes for the verbal ability section. 24 minutes, 16 minutes. Clear-cut thing. I'll come to the strategy a little bit. And I hope, dear students, you're writing it down on a piece of paper, whatever I'm saying. You can, of course, play on this video as many times as possible. But still, remember that point. Now, you first scan all the passages and see. First thing that you do, scan. You're not going to do all the passages unless you're the best. And you're getting a very good score, you're brilliant in that, still I'll advise. My point is why? I need 15 questions I need to get correct. So if I get, out of those 8 questions, if I can get 4 of those theta and 2 or 1 of the summary, I've got 5. then I just need 10 on the other side from reading comprehension. So wouldn't 3 passages be good enough for that? And suppose especially if a passage has got 5 questions, then 2 passages or 5 questions each could be good enough for that. See the number of questions and decide. Point number 2 that you need to take into consideration. Familiarity factor. CAT gives out passages, sociology, politics, economics, legal, science and technology, environmental stuff, whatever it is. Doesn't make a difference. What you do is this. See the familiarity factor. Remember those mock CAT days? I was very good in environment thing. I was very good in the sociology passages. Psychology was something I loved to do those passages. Familiarity breeds speed. When you'll be reading, you will feel comfortable. Now, when you're reading, I know, dear students, you're taking coaching, either you're self-study student or you've taken coaching and your teachers would have told you the best of strategy. My simple factor is, from experience, what I've told my students and what has given results is a simple factor. Read the passage. Once you've selected 3 passages, we're going to spend 7 to 8 minutes per passage. Got it? 7 to 8 minutes. If you're a very weak student, you're going to do only 2 passages and you're going to spend 12 minutes per passage. You'll get your 85 percentile, man, very easily. And don't panic. Under no consideration should you panic with. So, what should be the strategy when you're reading the passage? Read. The passage is broken into paragraphs. They're not very lengthy, 600, 700 words. That's a max that is there. Go through it quickly. Every paragraph, there's a white sheet next to you. The moment you read it, read coherently. Pick every paragraph will have the central idea. The first paragraph lays the intention of the author, which direction he is taking. What is it? On the right side, there is a white sheet of paper. Note the main point. P1, this. P2, this. Key idea, summarizing. That's very important. When you're reading this, it'll take 2-3 minutes. Don't rush in the reading process. That will result in rereading. Rereading is terrible. It's a crime. You should not do it because it breeds nervousness. Should not do that at all. Come to the end of the passage. There is a conclusion. You got an idea in your mind. You know, in CAT, the questions are moving on the right-hand side, so there'll be questions that will be coming up over there. When you see the questions that are there on the right-hand side, what you should do is this, pick up those questions which are the total questions, total passage questions. What is the primary purpose of the passage? That is it. The style of the writing. Where is the passage taken from? Who do you think the author is? These are the style, the tone, the primary purpose. These are all total passage questions. So obviously, if you have read the passage, it would be easier for you because it's fresh in your mind, the passage in its entirety, and then you can answer that question very well because you already know it. The very simple strategy. You've already got an idea. You look at the options that are there. I call this logic of elimination, which is more important than the logic of selection. You look at the options and you say, this cannot be, this cannot be. 2 options come in close and say, this can be. Reread those 2 options which you think are close. Check the verb. There'll be one distortion somewhere. Have a gut feeling? Mark. And if you're extremely confused, leave it. Leave it. 0 is greater than -1. Always remember that. Having done the total questions, then move to the direct questions. What are the direct questions? Which of the following with the writer, the typical question which has come in the last 3 years, which are there from CAT, a CAT19 passage which I've got in front of me. It says contemporary internet shopping conjures a perfect storm of choice anxiety. When you read that on the net, you'll find this passage. Let us look at the type of questions that came in this. Which of the following hypothetical statements would add the least depth to the author's prediction of the fate of startups offering a few product options? What is the writer trying to say in this question? This is what I call the critical reasoning question. least depth. That means supports the least. Remember, this part you should read very carefully. Least depth. What do you do? You check the statements which add depth. What does that mean? That means there would be, in the 5 options which are there, the 4 options which are there, there will be a reflection of that statement in the passage, and that you cross-check it through your summarization, which you've already done on the right-hand side on your sheet of paper. Next question. Let's have a look at that. Which of the following best sums up the overall purpose of the examples of Casper and Glossier in the passage? Now, if you read the passage, you will see, when you read the passage, actually I know you'll do that after this, when you read the passage, you'll see that Casper and Glossier has appeared twice in the passage. One at the end of the paragraph, end of the passage, and one in the middle. So the answer option would combine both of them. And that is what you would do. But this was, again, a total passage question. Exactly. At the same time, it is not a primary purpose for the whole passage. It's a particular part. But the summarization into paragraphs would have helped you quickly locate that point. That, second paragraph and fourth paragraph. These are the 2 paragraphs which are going to be helpful. So these are some of the questions that are there. Also, for example, another question, all of the following, if true, would weaken the author's claim except. Can you see the type of questions that are there? Dosto, in the next 15 days, could you go over critical reasoning questions a little bit? Especially those questions which are there, whichever institute you are following, just go through the critical reasoning questions and specially go through the questions. You can see this is tallying with that particular question which says that, what is it saying? Which of the following would strengthen the author's view? Which of the following would weaken the author's view? That's exactly that question that is there. So CAT has moved directly into critical reasoning in the reading comprehension section. Please do that. Work out as many critical reasoning questions that you can, in that, especially the ones that you've done before. You can do that. I'm trying to tell you, browse over them. That would be it. Well, that is as far as reading comprehension is concerned. That is there. And I hope sincerely, of course, that I'll be sharing with you my number and so anytime you feel, you can always get back to me and ask me further details on that. That's not a problem at all. Anyway, coming back to the next one, let me move on quickly to the VA section. Jumbled sentences. That's been a bugbear for students. They say, sir, everything happens. Jumbled sentences nahi hota hai. It's always a problem, and I always have a problem with jumbled sentences. I agree. So let's do like this. One thing understand, reading comprehension is the basis of the entire CAT VARC section. So when you're doing jumbled sentences, my simple strategy is this. Very simple strategy. I'm sure you know it, but very simple. Do this. Go over all the 4 sentences. Remember, you got 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Go over all the 4 sentences. See which sentence is a key idea. Remember, a jumbled sentence is nothing but a mixed up paragraph. And you've already done that in reading comprehension, how to find the key idea in an ordered paragraph. So you got a perfect idea. Now you do one thing, you find out the key sentence. Which one is the key sentence? That is the opening sentence, my dear. Keep that in mind. Next are the links. Links are of 2 types. Direct word links, B, thought links. They can be very ambiguous. Direct links kya hota hai? Noun adjective link. Suppose a sentence starts with these claims. The question is which claims? So the previous sentence which talked about which claims. So grammar helps a little bit in understanding these things. Demonstrative adjectives, they get it. Or for example, a noun pronoun link. It. If a sentence is starting with it, or there's a it there, you would start thinking which noun is the antecedent for that pronoun it. Simple as that. Once you got that into consideration, it's great. You would be able to do that very well. Once you've done that and you've got these links, there are these thought links. The last is the concluding part. I've seen from experience, and you see from your past CAT mock CATs, which of these where the first sentence and the last sentence has got mixed up. That is what you should do that. So what you should do is very simple, that after you've finished it, reading it, after you finish doing it, they can be pairs. So you have, suppose, A, B, C, D. So you got D, C. You know it's a fixed pair. The other is either is it AB or is it BA. Put it together, see the connectivity. And my final tip to you is what? Read the whole thing in the sequence that you have placed it. It's theta. Don't have to worry. So just then put it and read it. Does it sound like a coherent paragraph to you? Listen to your heart and your gut feeling. If it does, mark it or mark whichever is the closest to it. You don't have to worry. A word of caution. Don't spend too much time. It won't make any difference. What decision you have taken in 2 minutes will be the same decision which you, and the more time you give to it, the more complications will come in. That's a trap you are falling into. Don't. Odd sentence out. The next question. That's a little easier. People say, but I all say CAT is smarter than you. Please understand that. And they'll put the odd sentence out knowing that people will rush to it. They will make it a little bit tricky. That's it. The odd sentence out, the very simple strategy for the odd sentence out is, that is, do one thing. If any 2 sentences out of the 5 sentences come close, they cannot be an odd sentence because they are paired. Simple logic. Didn't anybody tell you that? Have you, once you've done that and you've separated someone, CAT says one thing in the question. It says very clearly that when they give this odd sentence out, the 4 sentences that is there, it's 5 sentences related to a topic are given below. 4 of them can be put together to form a meaningful and coherent short paragraph. Identify the odd one out. So what you should do is also, I tell my students, arrange the other 4 into a jumbled sentence paragraph. It will become clearer that the one which you're marking it as odd, that will be there. Normally I've seen what makes a sentence an odd sentence out. I'll tell you what. The one that is there is same subject but different development of a thought process. Finally, I come to the summary question. And the summary question is, obviously we've done this in reading comprehension. You know it. Read it. Central idea, supporting idea. Leave out the ones which are, look at the options which must have the central idea, narrow them down. B, development of the central idea. Is there a distortion in the argument? Narrow it down. Second is, when close 2 choices are there, look for conciseness. Which one is expressed in a more concise manner, even if it seems to be very close and has all the ideas, but one has got a conciseness in the way that is taken into account. And you should be able to get through it. But one point, it's got a negative marking, So spend a little bit more time on that rather than the jumbled sentence and the odd sentence out. Friends, there's one thing you should do in the last 15 days in VARC, and that is, you know what? You should revise your paragraph completion questions. You would say, why sir, they'll not come in the exam. I know, my dears, but the point is, a paragraph completion question helps us to understand jumbled sentences and odd sentence out much better because you have understood how to conclude a paragraph. And don't forget to do some questions on the FIJ. FIJ, I've always told students, is a beautiful tool mechanism for CAT. It appeared once in CAT, but every year we make the students do FIJ. You know why? Because FIJ is a tool to do that. Facts, inference, and judgments. Well, friends, just one thing to tell you. As I conclude, I'll like to tell you one thing. CAT is not an Armageddon or something, a final battle or something like that. You're all good. In 15 days, dramatic changes will not occur. what can happen is a cool mind, because CAT needs concentration. Approach the exam with a lovely acceptance that this is what I think I'll get, but I know that there will be a luck factor in my thing, which I'll be able to perceive, and I'll be able to get those questions which will push up my score. But this basic score, I'm assured of getting. Once you have that coolness in your mind, you will enjoy the exam. When you enter the examination hall, do not be taken aback by all the nervousness and the chill environment in the examination hall, the wait before the exam. Think of the good mock cats. Let's sit there. Just one simple 15 days. Last day, 27th, obviously you will not study. Obviously you will not study. You will relax, watch a movie, do something nice. Aram se. But before that, revise. Go over your old marks. Revise the formulas once again, a little bit round. Browse over. And keep doodling. At home, whenever you're revising something, keep doodling. Doodling is auto-thinking. It helps you a lot in that point. Well, wishing you the best. Remember to follow next what I'm going to come up with very soon. Once CAT is over, then the next ordeal will start. That is, we have to prepare for the group discussions, the personal interview, and the VARC sessions, for which I'll definitely be in touch with you. Thank you so much for listening to me. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.